What's up, everybody? So in today's video, we are going to be discussing what do we need to do or what we need to understand when a collection account is not showing up on your credit report. So this may be a big issue for you because you're getting calls from collection companies constantly, but when you log into your Credit Karma or to your Borrowwell, you're not seeing a collection account showing up on your credit report. Now, what this means is that the collection company that's contacting you does not own the debt, okay? And so when we're dealing with the collection company that does not own the debt, we need to be extremely careful because we want to make sure that when dealing with repaying debt, we're paying the correct collectors or the original creditor that we actually owe the debt to. Okay. Come across so many different situations to where the consumers are paying on debt that they themselves should not have actually been paying. All right. And this is why proof of debt or you getting proof of debt is extremely important. So if you come across a situation, the first thing you want to request is that the collection company provides you with proof of debt. So regardless of the province that you live in, anytime a collection company contacts you and claims that that you owe them debt for an account, then they need to respect your wishes. If you request to have them provide you with proof of debt, they need to respect that and provide you with that actual document. And that document, to be exact, is the original signed contract that you signed with the original creditor. Okay. So if they cannot produce this contract to you, then one, they cannot pursue you for the debt. And two, they can't report any information, which they haven't been so far anyway, and all forms of contact need to come to an end. Okay. Now, if you recognize the debt, but that collection company that's contacting you is not reporting on your credit report, then what I highly recommend is that you contact the original creditor, because what could also be happening is that that original creditor had contracted that collection company to go ahead and contact you on their behalf. Okay. And so a lot of companies will do this because they don't have the department or the resources to go out and try to collect on debt that you or the consumer may owe them. So they'll just go ahead and subcontract this out to a third party company or to a collection company. So that's probably why, or another reason why you're not seeing that collection company on your credit report. They've been contracted, but they don't own the debt. The debt is still owned by the original creditor, which in that case, you want to verify this by A, getting proof of debt from the collection company, and two, by contacting the original creditor and confirming that they hired this company. So, for example, as of date, CIBC, they'll usually subcontract out with partners in credit, and this is very common. Now, again, all of this is a contractual agreement. These two companies, from my knowledge, CIBC doesn't own partners in credit. So, 10 years from now, it could be a different collection company, right? But it's all about contracts. It's all about agreements. It's all about them having someone else go out and collect the debt, or get that money back on their behalf, so they don't have to do it. Okay, so um, the good news for you is that collection account is not hurting your credit, but the problem now is you're getting calls every day, and you want this to end. So if you've done your due diligence, right? You requested for proof of debt, you've contacted the original creditor, and you still end up with nothing, right? So let's say the original creditor isn't able to work something out with you, or they can't confirm that collection company actually works for them, and then that collection company is unwilling to provide you a proof of debt. Then the next step is for you to just send off a cease and desist letter. Okay, a cease and desist letter is going to end all forms of communication, because basically what you're saying is that if you cannot provide me a proof of debt, then all forms of communication need to come to an end. And if you continue to contact me, you are violating my consumer rights. I can submit a complaint with the Ministry of Finance. I can take legal action against you because, again, you're violating my consumer rights, and that'll typically stop all forms of communication. So the first thing before you send out a cease and desist is that you want to make sure you cover all bases and you do your due diligence. So many people try to jump right into the cease and desist, but you'll send off a cease and desist letter, and you're dealing with a legitimate collection company that's actually there to collect on your debt. They actually have the documents in place. So that cease and desist letter is no longer effective because they have everything in place. That's why we always want to ask for proof of debt first before we send off that cease and desist letter. or maybe they're just harassing or violating your consumer rights. So you want to go ahead, jump the gun, and send out that cease and desist letter. But if you do not have a collection account reporting your credit report, that is great news because it's not affecting your credit. Now, another mistake I constantly see is that consumers will see it on their Credit Karma and just assume that, okay, I'm sorry, they won't see it on their Credit Karma, so they'll think that it doesn't exist. But you have to keep in mind that there's two credit bureaus here in Canada. So Credit Karma is just providing you with a TransUnion, and Borrowwell is just providing you with your Equifax score. Okay, so you need to make sure that you have access to both of these platforms. I've come across so many different situations to where a collection account is showing up on Borrowwell, but it's not showing up on Credit Karma. Okay, so make sure you have access to both platforms. Double check, cover all bases before you start sending out disputes or saying, hey, you guys don't own this account. But when in doubt, request for proof of debt. All this is you getting answers for what's going on. Do you own this account? Were you contracted to collect on this account? What's the situation? Because if it's neither one of those situations, you should not be contacting me. You have no right to be calling me every day. You have no right to be texting or emailing me every day. Okay? So if you're currently dealing with a situation where you're getting harassed by collection companies, or you have a collection account that you're unsure about, you feel like you shouldn't be paying it, or you think you can dispute that, get that removed. If you need assistance, my company is here to help. You can send us an email at info@kennyjohnsonuniversity.com. Me and my team are more than happy to help you out. We'll book a free consultation call with you where we will go through your full credit report, break down every single thing that's on your credit report, help you understand why it's there, how it's affecting your credit. Then we'll talk about the derogatory accounts that you have on your credit report. And then we'll talk about how you can dispute those items, get them removed. Okay, so send us an email. We'll have a chat. We'll discuss your credit profile, what you need to do, and we'll go from there. Until next time, peace.